Right, we're straight into it. Mobility. We're going for the hips today, hip area. That's going to take the full hour. But like I said to you, I think you're going to feel the benefit from it, okay? First one we're getting straight into is we're kneeling groin, okay? So we're not messing about this morning. We're getting straight in and boarding the pain train. I'm only kidding. Pain is not something we're trying to associate with stretching. So please, you know, it shouldn't be painful. It should be maybe uncomfortable, but gradually uncomfortable. As always, get on your knees. As always, I'm going to be moving around during these stretches. Try and imagine there's a 10-second delay between what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and then you do it. Just to make sure that I don't start telling you to do something, your head disappears away from the camera, and you think you know what you're doing, but in actual fact you don't, okay? So, because if you did, why would you be here? So I'm going to be moving around, I'm going to be coming in and out of it, I'm going to be trying to talk through getting into better positions. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on people on live, and see if I can make you better as well if you're not doing things right. So rest assured, Adele, I can see you. So no half-heartedness, please. Let's get the most out of this morning. Right, okay. Right, I'm going as wide as I can with my knees. That's the first point, okay? So I'm going straight into a deep groin stretch. So wide as I can with my knees. As I ease into this stretch, you're probably going to be able to get the knees wider. That's your focus. Now I'm going to spin around to the side now. So your knees are nice and wide. And now all I want you to do, you can see that my foot's behind my knee. I'm not trying to bring them in like that, okay? Imagine you've got the biggest hookie going and you're trying to leave, maybe you do, but maybe you're trying to leave enough room to get your hookie below your ankles. You don't want it to be hitting your ankles, okay? So now all I'm doing is I'm trying to push back that way, okay? So I'm pushing my body back that way. What you do with your arms is up to you. You can have them out in front of you. You might feel a nice upper body stretch from that, but what I want you to keep the focus on your groin, okay? So don't put your arms out in front and then start thinking, God, chest, shoulders and back's tight. Okay, this is a groin stretch. For me in the groin stretch, I like to rest on the elbows. Okay, I just like to rest on the elbows. That's me though. Okay, because it allows me just to chill out with my upper body and it allows me to keep applying more and more weight onto the groin. So the first part of this one, it's not too bad. I'll talk you through how you should be doing it. Okay, so phase one is taking it to the point where it feels, right, that's pretty stiff. Probably won't go any further or something might snap kind of sensation, okay? So you can see my face right now, it's pretty chilled, but it is slightly uncomfortable. All I'm doing now, well, all you're doing now is focusing on a big breath in, big breath out, and trying to relax that muscle group, okay? But you're constantly applying that pressure, that tension. You're not easing out of it, but the deep breathing will let the muscles relax a little bit. When they do, just take it a little millimetre more, okay? And all I want you to do is keep working that. So for the next couple of minutes, this is the stretch we're doing, and it's up to you now to have the initiative to try and make it better. So I'm focusing on my breathing here. I'm continually trying to pull my knees apart, and I'm continually pushing my butt back the way along with the rest of my body. So we're just going to zone out, okay? It's down to you now. I can't do the stretch for you. So all I'm doing, like I say, just taking it further and further and further, and now it's starting to get pretty uncomfortable, okay? So it won't be long. When you're uncomfortable, you'll be amazing how warm you start to get, okay? But it's trying to relax. Don't feel that you're tensing up against it. If you start to lose the stretch, ease out a little bit to find it and then go back into it. But don't ease out of it unless you absolutely have to, okay? So for this right now, yep, I'm really feeling it. I'm really feeling it. And we're going to go for it. Keep going. If your face starts to change shape, you're on the right track, but then at the same time, try and relax your face. I don't want people, again, you start associating pain and discomfort with stretching and you're not going to look forward to doing it, are you? Right, we're going 30 more seconds here, everybody. So I am going for it now, okay? I'm really at the point where now I'm taking it to the point where I'm trying to get even better, okay? I'm taking it to the point that's really not comfortable, but I'm not getting pain, okay? It's uncomfortable. Feels like a hell of a stretch in my groin. Take it as far as you can, safely. Don't be snapping anything, don't be dislocating anything. Okay, you'd have to do well to do that, but try not to anyway. Right, when you're coming out of this now, very slowly, it's going to be if you took this to the extreme, it's going to be uncomfortable coming back out of it. So take your time, okay? Slowly bring the knees together. And then all I want you to do is stand up and I want you to walk around, okay? So you'll probably feel it right in here, right in at the hips. I want you to walk around, let that blood regulate, let it flow around, shake it out if you want to. You can do a few light-hearted squats. Whoa, good, and hopefully from that, you're feeling a good stretch, okay? So a lot of these things, it's not just a case of we do that and all of a sudden I'm feeling great, okay? Not all these stretches are made to make you feel great. A lot of them we're trying to, well, for the most part, it's mobility work. We're trying to make our exercise better, okay? We're trying to perform better. We're trying to increase the range of movement. Also, we're helping recovery here. We're getting fresh blood flowing around our body into these muscles that are tired. And that fresh blood brings fresh nutrients, and it's going to help them repair a bit more as well, okay? So it can help recovery. I'm not saying it does, because hell, I don't know if it does. Right, we're going into a similar kind of stretch, but we're going to sit down, okay? Now, all I'm doing here, it's important you don't just let the lower back sump, okay? So just like a Russian twist, not that I like them, I'm not a big fan of them, like I say, because that tends to happen. Make sure your lower back never feels like it's sumped, okay? Now, what I want you to do is sit up nice and tall and spread your legs as wide as you can, but don't let the knees come off. So if you go crazy wide and you start to look like me and your knees are off the ground, you've gone too far, okay? You want to feel like you're almost getting a stretch on your groin straight away, but not too much. We're happy with that? Keep your good posture up. And now this stretch, this is one where, again, if we had equipment, we'd have a band. We'd have one of them resistance bands round something and we'd be using it to pull towards. If you're at home, you can improvise. You can do this in a doorway. You can do it, you know, with a banister or something you can pull. Or if you've got a willing partner who's gently going to start pulling you. We can still do it by ourselves, but the problem is it's quite hard to take it to the extreme because then you start activating your muscles to try and push yourself forward rather than something staying relaxed, okay? So all we're doing here, I want you to move forwards and start moving the body forwards, okay? Now, what you do with your arms is up to you. The stretch, we're trying to feel the stretch in the groin, but you're going to feel it probably more lengthwise, more down the adductors, which doesn't really matter to you. But you're still going to feel it in the groin, but you might feel it over a greater area, if that makes sense. You'll probably feel it more where I'm pointing now. With that, that's where it's up to you now. Let's get moving. It's up to you now to do what you can to enhance that stretch. I'll show you a few things. I'll show you what I'm doing. You can copy me, or you know, it's a weird position you can see I'm in now. So all I do for the first part is I just start leaning forward. Now this is one of the ones, this is like a classic kind of, I don't know, old school runners stretch where you see folk going like this and bouncing a little bit and then they go and run and think that's them good to go. Okay, so do not bounce this one. Don't ease out of it either. Adele, what you doing here? Let's go. Not many on your class this morning. I can see everybody with great detail, so make sure you're doing it properly, otherwise I'll shout at you. Especially you, Leslie, in your veranda. Right, okay, so first phase, I'm feeling it. Okay, now it's up to you. You're trying to get your upper body more forward, okay? You're trying to get it chest towards the ground so you can put your arms above your head and that'll help add a bit of weight to help get you down all the more. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Knees must stay on the ground, or if you've got a fairly decent kind of floor with a grip, as in, you know, I've got a rubber floor here, I can put my hands on the floor and I can start walking them forwards. Okay, so that's another way to do it, everybody. If you were doing this with a resistance band or someone pulling you, be careful and just do the same thing. You're just trying to apply a bit more tension each time. Now keep going. So for me with the hands on the floor, I'm not really feeling it the same. The way I'm doing it here, not really feeling it the same. I prefer if I've got my hands up and I'm reaching forwards. And again, you take it to the point it's uncomfortable. We're holding that. Now, we're going to be feeling it along the groin area, but you're also probably going to start feeling it in the lower back if you aren't already. And that's perfectly normal, especially if you start tucking your chin in. Okay, everybody, I want you to take it a little bit further. Lean forward a little bit more. Make sure those knees are still down. Again, this is where you have to be careful. If your back's severely tight, just be careful. You don't start going forward too far too soon. Good, and again, play around with the position. Any way you can do it to enhance it, that's what we're after, okay? So as long as you're not easing in and out, and again, you can use your arms as a bit of weight, a bit of leverage to get down. Try and stay relaxed while you've got that stretch on. Okay, so for me right now, Starting to feel it more in the lower back, to be honest, but that's me, I'm tight there. Last 15 seconds, I want you to take it as far as you can, do what you need to make it there. Good, everybody. Good, so we're spending a lot of time in and around the groin area today. Good, and I want you to slowly ease out. And again, when you ease out after being at those extreme ranges, just take your time, okay? Slowly ease out, right? Perfectly normal for your legs to feel a little bit dead. So that's why it's important, that's why I'm getting you up. Up on your feet, slowly, gently, walk around, big breaths, shake it out. Okay, so lower back, if your lower back's a bit tight, you most definitely would have felt it there. I'm feeling it now, just from that. But again, that's not to say you've got a dodgy lower back. Lower back gets pretty tight. We're doing a lot of burpees, so if you're doing these classes, your lower back gets a hammering on burpees. When I say a hammering, I don't mean bad, but when you're jumping those legs out, hit, that core has to go, hit, to stop that happening. That's your lower back, okay? So that's why if you're doing the burpees properly and you're jumping all the way out, your lower back's working well, and that's why for a lot of the time after the circuits, you feel your lower back's tight. Anyway, because we always do burpees. Right, we're getting into the warrior one. I call it the warrior one because it's like a warrior lunge. Well, it kind of is a warrior lunge. This is the groin one that we're going to be in for a wee bit of time, and this is where it's down to you, especially if you've done it a few times, to maneuver around, find better areas, find pockets of tightness, maneuver your body into different positions. If you're not sure or you just want to follow me, that's fine because we're going to cover all the bases. So all I'm doing here, I'll show you from the front, I'm getting my hands, foot out, hand on foot, other hand next to the foot, and then that back leg, I'm just trying to straighten it out, but that back knee is on the ground, okay? That back knee isn't floating, okay? So I'm forcing the chest up here. I'm going to move to the side so you can see now. So from the side it looks like this, but I'm going to move back to the front so you can see exactly what's happening. So if you're pretty tight, beginner, you're going to be around this kind of position. I need to look in the mirror. You're probably going to be here and struggling to get your back straight and already feeling it in your groin, okay? If that's you, that's fine. Like I said to you, when I first started doing this stretch, I was like this. I was like, ugh. And then when I started lifting the arm, I was like, ugh. But it just takes time. And now, you know, especially with doing this mobility classes twice a week, I'm starting to get very good at this. So chest up, okay? And all I'm doing, I'm pushing the hips down and I'm keeping the whole foot flat on the floor. So don't pull your knee out and let the toes start lifting off. And again, I'm going to show you from the front now because this is where I'm going to start maneuvering you around. So the reason I tell you to put your hand on your foot is that way you're getting other hand and you're in line. Because a lot of times when people do this stretch, they have their hands too far in front or behind their foot. If you've got it behind your foot or too far in front, you're just not going to get the right stretch, okay? You're going to struggle to get in the position properly. So here, with this leg that's in front of me, I'm replicating being at the bottom of a squat, okay? So my hip is replicated being at the bottom of a squat. As you can see, if you look at your leg now, you go, oh, so it is. Okay, so what you're trying to do is make sure that you're pushing down and your chest is up. Okay, so where am I feeling this? Right in there, right in that bit of the groin, but also, again, I'm pretty tight today. My hip flexor on this leg behind me is also getting it. That's perfectly normal. Okay, so for the first part of this stretch, I'm holding it here. I'm getting a good stretch in at my groin. My hip flexor's getting a good stretch. Now it's starting to get to the point where, right, I'm still holding the stretch, but I could probably go a bit further. But how do I do that? Because my hips are already pushed down up and my chest's already up. So all I'm going to do is start rotating this way, but before you do, remember, pay attention to me. So I'm keeping my hips pushed down and I'm keeping that knee pulled apart and I'm going to start slowly rotating my body this way, okay? But slowly, I'm enhancing the stretch. So I'm turning away while pushing my hips down. That's the most important part. If you start rotating and as soon as you start rotating, you don't feel the stretch enhancing, you're doing it wrong. Push the hips down, keep the chest up as you go round, okay? And I'm trying my best. As I go round now, I'm feeling that more and more in the groin, more and more, because I'm lengthening out the muscle all the more here. If you're not, keep pushing the hips down and make sure that knee's not coming with you. Okay, so you can see that the knee is still getting pulled away, okay? And if you want to put your hand into your knee, do it. Okay, this is what I mean. You need to move around. If you can do something that makes the stretch better for you, do it. Don't just chill out in a crap position. If you don't feel the stretch, fix it, get the stretch back on, okay? So for the last 10 seconds here in this position, I'm going round as far as I can, and this is pretty uncomfortable, okay? This is pretty uncomfortable. Now make no mistake, we are not going out of this stretch. So I want you to move back to the start position, the original stretch, keeping the tension on, do not ease it out, do not ease out. Okay, so we're back here now. Now I'm going to go towards the knee. So now I'm getting my chest, and I'm going to bring it towards my ankle. Best way of doing that is the elbow. I'm bringing my elbow down and now I'm onto it. Get a hold of that foot. Again, this is me, this is what I like to do. And now what am I trying to do? I'm trying to focus on pulling my chest in towards my heel, okay? Now I've been doing this a wee while. If you're struggling, hold it at a position where you're feeling a damn good stretch, and that's where you're going to be at, okay? That's where you're going to be hanging out. Now for me now, I've got the stretch on. I'm not trying to ease in and out of it, but what I'm going to do now, if you start looking at me, is I'm going to start trying to manipulate my body around into different positions to try and find little pockets of tightness, okay? When I'm doing that, I'm not easing out of the stretch though. I'm enhancing it. I'm just moving around. And I want you to imagine when you're getting a massage and someone finds a knot, they get their elbow in there, don't they? And they start just getting stuck in. It's kind of what I'm doing now, okay? So I'm keeping that stretch on, but I'm just moving around, trying to find little pockets of tightness. Good, and now I'm going to move back to the middle. Good. Feeling good, everybody? Right, let's ease out of that one then. Ease out slowly, and again, I want you to stand up. And it's perfectly normal to feel a bit lopsided, okay, because we've just spent a lot of time. Shake it out, lift the leg up, maneuver it around, just work it through that range of movement, okay? Think of your hip bone, okay, that's the area we've all been loosening off. And that's kind of how this works, okay? So let's think of it. While we're just getting a quick rest, get a quick drink of water. You've got the hip joint in here, okay? You imagine the big long femur bone. You can imagine what a skeleton looks like, can't you? Now, take away the muscle, that's just going to move around, full range of movement. Add in the muscle, you're trying to maneuver it round, but it's a little bit tight in here, so it's not going to go as far as it's going to get stuck. It's not going to move as freely in the joint as it's able to because those muscles are getting tight. Again, that's why a lot of people, when they're squatting, they're struggling to get down into depth because this is lengthening, this is lengthening, this is lengthening, this is lengthening. If it's unable to move and glide freely, okay, you're going to start struggling to open up the knees. If you can't open up the knees, you're going to struggle to get down further. Or you're going to continue going down further and then you look like this. Okay? Anyway, next side. Get a sip of water on if you need it and get into the next side. It's exactly the same. So if you're happy with the stretch, fire on into it. Probably better you just follow along with me anyway. Okay? Now, it's perfectly normal. Well, it's not normal. I say it's normal. It's only because I feel it. I feel this side's usually a bit tighter on pretty much everything. Why is that? I do not know. I really don't know. But that's me personally. My right glute's always a hell of a lot tighter. Everything's just always seems I'm not talking crazy, but it just feels a little bit tighter on the right side. Okay, so again from the side, we're looking like this. Hand on foot, and I'm trying to get that chest up, okay? But I'm staying at the front so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Good, so chest's up. First phase of this is just hanging out here. So you can get a lot with this stretch. This position alone, before we start twisting and turning, you can get a lot from this position. So make sure you're not just chilling out here because you're waiting for me to start turning. At this point, I'm pulling the knee out. I'm forcing the hips down. And I want you to try and keep your lips hip level. What I mean by that is, again, we're at the bottom of that squat. If you were at the bottom of a squat, your hips wouldn't be like that, would they? They'd be neutral. They'd be facing down and forwards. So make sure they are, or at least try. If the groin's really tight, you're going to struggle with that. Okay, so the first part of this is just trying to push the hips down, force the chest up, pull the knee apart, and get a good stretch in the groin. Perfectly normal, like I say. If your hip flexor's tight on this straight leg behind you, perfectly normal to feel it there. You might even feel it more there at this moment in time. Good. Right, what am I doing now? Talk you through it, remember. I'm going to keep pushing my hips down, but I'm going to start rotating my body away from that knee. But I keep pushing the hips down. Every millimetre, every inch that I move round away from that knee, I'm enhancing the stretch. That's important. If you move and you don't feel it enhanced, check yourself. Make sure your knees getting pulled apart. Make sure your hips are getting pushed down. Make sure your chest is trying to fight itself up, okay? If you move and the stretch doesn't feel like it's enhanced, something's happened that's not right, okay? So again, you get a hell of a lot from this stretch, but you need to be taking it to that point where it's uncomfortable. Okay, we're trying to push the range. We're trying to increase the range that it wants to go to. Again, all this is doing is just teaching our brain that it's okay to go to these ranges. Our brain's trying to fight it, okay? It's tensing up the muscle, it's contracting the muscle. It doesn't want you to go further because your brain thinks it's going to get hurt. It's not used to going into these ranges. We're just trying to train it that way, make sure it's okay. But then we have to keep on top of that, okay? It's not just a case of we go there once and your brain's like, ah, it's cool, we'll go here now. You have to keep on top of it. But then on top of that, your muscles start seizing up as well. Exercise, they get tight, they get stiff, they get sore. Good, 10 more seconds, take it as far as you can on this side. Hips down, chest up, ooft. Good. If you're not thinking in your head right now, ooft, you're not taking it far enough. Right, we're going to start easing back to the middle. Back to the middle, hang out here for a couple of seconds. Back on that stretch, okay? At no point during that transition did I ease out. Okay, so for the full 3, 4, 5, whatever the hell minutes we're doing this for, right, I'm dropping it. You're not easing out the stretch. So I've dropped that elbow. If you drop that elbow and it's too much, as in you're completely lost the position, your chest is, not your chest, your hips are way off and you're not feeling it the same, just come back up. Okay, this is probably us getting into a bit more kind of, I wouldn't say advanced. It's not advanced, but it's not beginner either. So again, what am I doing? I'm trying to pull for the first part here, get my chest towards my ankle. It's not going to happen. It might happen, but I don't think looking at my ankle and how far away from my chest it is, that it's ever going to touch it. Good, but I'm trying anyway. Good, and again, I've got that stretch, so now I'm just going to start manoeuvring around, trying to manipulate it, find little pockets of tightness, push on it. At no point am I easing out of this stretch though, okay? Good, I'm going to ease back to the middle. Starting to get a sweat on now, that's an uncomfortable one, that. Good. Good, everybody, and slowly, very slowly ease out. Same again, I want you to stand up, I want you to walk around, I want you to shake it out and just move it through the range of movement. Okay, so up and around and back in and just give it a shuggle. Right, you've got a couple of, no you don't have a couple of minutes. You've got a few seconds. And get a drink of water on board. Right. Let's get attacking the glutes now. So you can see there's a lot of stretches, a lot of movements we can do around the hip area. And that's why I think for the most part, it's probably an area where most people struggle with, okay? And it's the area where we get a lot of tightness that affects how we move, how we exercise as well. So that's why I'm happy, I am more than happy to spend an hour doing the hip area. So I said glutes there, we're going to do the hip capsule stretch. If you're happy with the hip capsule stretch, get into it now, get it done, start it. If you're not quite happy with it, or when you do it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you know what you will in a minute. The hip capsule one, you need to remember, it's not a muscular stretch, as in it's not a big long stretch, you know, like we've just been doing there, where you feel a whole area getting stretched out. We're mobilizing the hip capsule, okay, where that bone enters in, where the joint, is, where the bone sticks in that joint. We're trying to mobilize the joint. So bear that in mind when you're doing it, because it doesn't feel like a traditional stretch, okay? Flexibility and mobility. This is more a mobility movement, okay? So I'm trying to free up the range of movement in the actual hip capsule. Again, picture the skeleton. It's that ball and socket joint that goes in, okay? That gets jammed up tight as well. The muscles within that joint get jammed up tight. So all I'm trying to do here is free that up. So it's going to feel a little bit weird if you've not done it before. Okay, it's not going to feel like a great stretch. It's probably going to feel more like a, I don't know, what do I usually say? You're trying to pop, you're trying to prise the long bone out the joint. Imagine that as you're doing this. You're trying to pop it out, pop the femur out the joint. So I'm going to talk you through it. If you're happy with this movement, get into it and get cracking, because it's a good one to spend a bit more time on. If you've never done it before or you're not quite sure, let me show you. So your knee needs to be below your hip, okay? Your knee needs to be below your hip. From here, the opposite leg, what you do with that leg is up to you. I encourage you to just put it slightly behind your knee, but still have a bit of weight on it. I want you to try and imagine you're putting all the weight, so I'm talking my right leg, okay? So I'm going to do my right hip first. So when you hear me refer to the right, that's the one you should be stretching. So I'm putting all my body weight onto that right knee now, and that left knee is just kind of floating, but still touching the ground, okay? Now what am I going to do? I want you to push the hip out this way. Picture the long bone going into the joint. Imagine you're trying to prise it out, okay? I'm sure you know what I mean by that. You're trying to prise it out the joint. So I'm pushing my hips towards you now, okay? And what I'm going to do is come and show you from the front, okay? So my hips, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Can you see what I'm doing there? Pushing it that way, trying to prise the joint, the bone out the joint. So straight away, what does it feel like? Feels more kind of like pressure in the joint. I'm sure you'll agree. A little bit of a stretch. Okay, now keep pushing it out and pushing it out with all the weight still on that right knee. For the duration of this stretch, all your body weight, or as much as you can, is on that right knee. Now what am I going to do? I want you to start. Well, not start. Let's say if you're holding this position and you're feeling pretty good, so then you're feeling you're getting a good bit of mobilization out of that joint, hold it where it is. But what I'm going to start doing is slowly start coming forwards. Okay, so from the side, I'm going to show you. So I'm prizing it out. I've got that pressure on there. Again, this left knee of mine, I'm just moving it around. It's kind of floating, if I'm honest, at this point. I'm going to start, if you look at me now, what I'm trying to do is slowly come down like this, okay, very slowly, and I'm talking very slowly, all the while trying to pop that out. Okay, so I'm trying to pop it out. Now this movement, okay, so as I start going down, I start moving my hands forward. I keep pushing to the right. Okay, I keep trying to pop that femur out the joint, but all the weight has to be on the knee, everybody. All the weight's on that knee. And I have to be relaxed. If you're not relaxed and you're tensing up against it, your hip joint will be tensing up against it, you won't feel it. So just be conscious. Make sure you're relaxing. Now, it's not wrong if you look at me now, as I start lowering down, I go back a little bit and I come back again. So I'm mobilizing it, okay? Remember, it's not like a traditional stretch. I'm not trying to hold it. I'm trying to mobilize it. So by rocking backwards and forwards slowly and going down a little bit further each time, all while trying to pop it out, you'll start to feel what I'm talking about, okay? So again, I'm really leaning against it. This is one that I can only do my best to describe, okay? I'm pretty sure you know what you're trying to achieve here. The more you do this, I think the better you get at getting more out of it. So if you just look at me again, I'm going backwards and forwards and then I'm going down a little bit more, okay? All the while trying to pop that femur out. All the weight's still on my right knee. Of course, it's starting to go into my arms more now because I'm leaning forwards. But all that weight, okay? So I'm just trying to put my body into whatever weird position I can. Okay, I'm coming back up. Whoa, okay? With this one, you probably don't feel like you're doing a hell of a lot, but when you stand up, if you've done it right, you're probably going to feel like one leg's gone drunk on you. Okay, so I'm really down now. If you look at me now, that leg's almost straight, but all the pressure is still popping that femur out, okay? I'm still got all the weight pretty much on my knee. Yes, of course, you've got weight in your arms, otherwise you'd be flat in your face at this point. But then I'm back up. I want you to come back up. Good. And I hope you're feeling that. I hope you're feeling it. Okay, so you're just trying to mobilize that hip joint. Come out slowly, stand up, and hopefully you know what I mean. You might walk around now and you feel like one leg is a bit kind of weird. Okay, if you've done it right, you'll feel what I'm talking about. Feels all of a sudden like it's really loose. Okay, if you're on live, give us some feedback. Are you feeling it? Are you not feeling it? Are you not quite sure what you're meant to be feeling? Good, happy days. First time you do it, if it's the first time you do it, you might have to play around a bit. Point taken, before we move on to the other side, all I'm trying to do, I'm sure, like I say, I keep explaining it over and over again, but I want you to understand what we're trying to do. You know what the femur is. Big long bone, ball and socket joint. It goes into the socket, big ball, and all I'm trying to do, I can't even show you properly, but this is the socket, this is the femur, and we're trying to manipulate it round within that socket, okay? Now all those muscles, those little muscles in the joint get a bit stiff and tight, all that tissue. So all I'm trying to do, this is the femur, is break it up and just start moving it within the joint, okay? By putting body weight on it, that's what I'm trying to achieve. So all I'm doing really is this, okay? That is what I'm saying by pushing the hip out and I'm mobilizing it, okay? So that's where we should be feeling it. It doesn't feel like you're stretching a great area out, but remember, it's the joint. Let's go again, other side now, and we're going to spend a bit of time on it. Spend a bit of time on it. So hopefully you were feeling that one. That's a good one. I like that one. I think you get a lot from that one. Okay, you might have nice flexible muscles, but if the joint's not mobilized, if it's all locked up tight in the joint, those muscles still aren't going to be able to move through a very good range of movement. So again, I'm stretching my left side. So if you hear me refer to my left knee, that is the side that I'm stretching. So opposite if you're on the right. So first part, knee directly underneath the hips. Load all that body weight onto that left knee. Again, opposite if you're on the other side. And then first part of this isn't going forward, but it's going out to the side. And this is where you have to play around with it. Okay, so see before you start moving around in this one, make sure at this starting position now, you've got that feeling in the hip joint where you're pumping it out. You have to play around with it, everybody. If you're not feeling it, just check, give it maybe a wee bounce. Check that your hips aren't tensed up against this, okay, which they might be. Your body doesn't really want you going this way. So you have to make sure and make a conscious effort to relax. Okay, so now I'm really popping it out. I'm really prizing it out. And when I say prize, imagine a crowbar. Trying to bust open a door with a crowbar. I'm sure you can visualize that one. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here, okay? Crowbar's stuck in, and I'm just trying to pull that femur out. Good. So again, you're going to have to move your body. The opposite knee, okay, you could in theory bring it off the ground and get more weight on, so you can try that. See if you bring your leg off the ground, you'll be able to really load up, but that's a bit of a stress position and you're going to get tired there. But that is going to show you what you should be feeling on that knee. So when you bring this leg back down, it's just resting. It's hardly resting on the ground. But by lifting this leg up, you're going to load all that weight onto the left knee. Once you've got all that weight on the left knee, keep popping it out and keep playing around with it. And I'm just going to start going forwards now. I'm moving down forwards, but I'm continually trying to pop that hip out. Okay, and then there's nothing wrong with coming back up and going back into it. When I come back up, rest assured I am not easing out of it. I've continually got that pressure in the hip joint. And again, think of it as a massage. Think of it as somebody's elbow in, breaking up all that knot that they've found. Same thing here. So I'm enhancing the stretch, I'm going forward, I'm feeling it more, but I come back up and just try and free up that tissue again. But when I'm coming back up, I'm not easing out at any point when I come back up. Good, so for me now, when I get into about this position, this is where I really feel it in the hip joint now, okay? So now that I'm really here, I'm really loading a lot of weight onto it, I'm really able to push a lot out. Everybody's different though, everybody's different. Okay, so now it's up to you. Spend a bit of time, mobilize that hip joint like I say. It's not a classic stretch, but by moving around, remember, I'm not easing out, that's the key point here. Although I'm moving around, I'm not easing in and out of it. I'm continually trying to pop it out the joint. Geez, I think you get the picture by now. Good. So it's a weird one. Again, make sure that back leg, the opposite leg that we're not stretching, doesn't start taking up too much weight, okay? Lift it off the ground every now and again just to make sure that you are loading all that weight on. Good. And bring it back up slowly. Finish off with a good solid stretch at the top. Good. And then when you're done and when you're ready, back on your feet, shake it out. And again, you should walk around and you'll maybe feel a bit lopsided. Almost feels maybe like one leg's longer than the other. It's probably the best way to describe it when you walk around. As you see me walking around, I'm not exaggerating it just to try and make it look like it was an effective stretch. Good. So again, keep the water on board. So I hope you're feeling the benefit of that one, okay? It's not all long muscle stretches. Now we're getting into the glutes, okay? So glutes, the butt, you're trying to feel it more here on this stretch, okay? It's hard for me to point when we're actually doing this stretch, but we're trying to feel it here. The key point is when we're doing this, you've got your leg out at 90 degrees. Make sure if it's pretty stiff, you pin it with a hand. Pin it with a hand to stop it sliding out of that position, okay? So, pretty sure you all know this one by now, but as always, I'm talking you through it from the start. So I'm sitting on my hip bone, and I'm getting that leg out 90 degrees in front of me, okay? 90 degrees, right angle. And then this back leg, for now, for the first part of this stretch, we're going to just go for the classic glute. We're going to go from the classic glute with my hip on the floor, okay? So this is the hip on the floor version. We're going to hang about here for a little bit, and then we're going to transition up on top of it where that back leg is no longer at 90 degrees, but it goes straight on top, okay? But for the first part, we're going to just get rid of that initial tightness, and all I'm doing is going chest towards the knee, and I'm coming down like this, okay? So from the side, I'm going to move and show you because this is one that gets done quite wrong. So everybody's different. For me, my glutes are I'm always fighting tightness in my glutes. It's just a losing battle. Well, it's not a losing battle. It's a draw. Okay, so all I'm doing here, I'm pinning that hand and I'm trying to lower my chest towards my knee. But look at my back. Of course, it's a little bit arched, but don't let that happen. You know, if you're just down like this going, God, this is easy. I'm so good at this. My back's arched, okay? This here isn't you stretching the glutes out, okay? I'm just arching my back and getting down lower. Make sure as you go down lower, you try and just keep the chest up and keep that spine neutral as you go and slowly lower the weight down onto it. What you do with your hands is up to you. Like I say, you're going to have to change the position of your hands. I'm onto the elbows now as you get lower. But this can be a pretty uncomfortable one for some. Okay, so for me, when I do this one 9 times out of 10, I feel it more in the groin. Why is that? Because I'm always stiff and sore in there from my own training, and that's where everybody's different. It's a glute stretch, yes. I'm still feeling it here, but I'm feeling it still in that groin area because that's where it's stiff for me. Okay, you might be feeling it more on your glutes, and that's fine. That's where everybody's different. So I don't want you to think it's wrong. You might be really flexible, you might not feel too much, but I'm pretty sure you're feeling something. Now this is where you can maneuver around. You can start bringing your chest more towards your calf muscle, or you can start twisting more towards the glutes, okay? So you've got options here. Go towards the calf, or twist away, not twist away, twist towards the side of the glute and come down, and you might feel it more in the glutes that way. Again, this is where it's down to you. This is what I'm talking about. Initiative. You have to move around. If you find a little pocket of tightness and you think, geez, that's tight in that way, get in there, get stuck into it. Okay, you might go towards your calf and think, Jesus, I can barely get down there. Let's fanny about in this bit for a bit. And then I'm going to turn around, okay, and I might not feel anything there. But for me, I think I'm getting the most out of this one when I twist away towards the glutes, but that's just me. Glutes, they get tight. You know, you're using your glutes, or at least you should be, a hell of a lot, and a hell of a lot of exercises, especially your squats, your lunges. So they get tight. And that can transfer into your lower back. So a lot of the time, if your lower back's feeling tight, a quick stretch of the glutes, right? I'm easing out of it, but I'm not changing legs, okay? I'm not changing legs, so I'm just turning around. Now I want you to get up on top of it. Pin that foot to the floor, get up on top, and again, make sure that that leg stays at 90 degrees. Okay, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm getting down, and because we've mobilized that hip capsule, you might feel a better stretch than normal, as in you might feel a bit more mobile. Okay, can you see what I'm doing there? I'm up on top of it, same stretch, but now my hip's pretty much off the ground, and I've brought that out in front of me. So I'm going to show you from the side. It's exactly the same stretch, the same position. Grab the foot so it doesn't slide away from you and get up on top of it. So that back leg of mine is pretty much straight, okay? Pretty much straight. All I'm focusing on is getting a stretch in here now. So by bringing this right round and getting up on top of it, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that hip joint, I'm sure you're feeling, and I'm really stretching out that glute. So what am I doing now? I'm trying to get down, okay? So it looks like I'm trying to do that, but in actual fact, this is off the ground. I'm trying to push down that way on it, okay? Make sure that foot is out at 90 degrees. Don't let it start sliding down towards your groin, because that's going to ease the stretch out. Okay, so this can be pretty uncomfortable. Hang about, let's get it done. Okay, you maneuver your body around any way you need to get a better stretch. And with this one, most definitely should be feeling it here now, right in that hip, right in the glutes. Again, make sure you're relaxing. Doesn't look like I'm very relaxed with this face, but it's uncomfortable. So make sure you're relaxing. If you're not relaxing, because where might you not be relaxing? You might find the hip joint isn't relaxed properly, okay? You might find this is tensing up to stop you going down because it's uncomfortable. So again, sometimes just a couple of light bounces can help make you realize that it's not relaxed and help fix it. Good. I want you to slowly ease out of that one and change legs, okay? Right, I can show you from the front now. So I'm going back onto the other side now. So that was a good stretch, that was good. Feeling that today. A lot of tightness around the hips. Again, it's pretty normal, especially if you're a couch potato or if you exercise a lot. You're going to be tight around those areas because those are big. Hips are the driving engine behind most movements, okay? Big, powerful muscle groups in around that area, they're always going to get tight. So now for this first part, traditional glute stretch, okay? Traditional glute stretch. My hip bone is on the floor at this point, my glute's on the floor, and all I'm doing is just getting a focus on that first part of the movement. So for me, I feel it different. I feel this stretch different to the one on top. So when we do that enhanced glute stretch, when we get up on top of the body, for me, I feel it in a different area, okay? I feel that it just targets things a little bit differently, hence why we're doing both today. Now, if you do the enhanced glute version, when we're up on top of it, and you get pain in your knee, revert back to this one. Because it can sometimes put, if you're locked up pretty tight, it can put a lot of pressure on your knee. So just be careful. But you know how to be careful. These are all grown-ups. Okay, so for me now, I'm down, and again, I'm trying. For me now, I'm rotating away. I keep saying rotating away, rotating towards the glutes that I'm stretching, okay? So I'm rotating towards it and continuing trying to go down, and I feel it in my glutes more when I do that. And that's what I'm trying to target here. Because I find a lot of the time, if I just go straight towards my knee or towards my calf, I feel it more in the groin, which again isn't wrong. But for me, right now, I'm trying to target my glutes. So just by rotating round and down. And again, with this, biggest point is making sure you're relaxed. Okay, and just because I'm saying relax doesn't mean to say that you will be. Sometimes, again, the area that we're stretching, that hip joint doesn't like what we're trying to do, so it'll be tensing up a little bit. So just make sure, there we go, it's relaxed, if you get what I mean, okay? So a lot of the time you can just be subconsciously tensed up against it or not quite relaxing down into it. Good, and now I want you to come up on top of it, so I'm not really changing my position, but this is where it's important. It's probably a good idea to pin the foot now, because as you transition up on top of it, if you're pretty tight, this foot is going to start sliding towards your groin, and then you're going to lose the stretch completely, or the whole point in it. So I'm pinning that down, and now I'm going to get up on top, and straight away you can see that knee's lifted off. Okay, my knee's sky high now. This side is always tight for me, so this is what I mean. You have to be careful with that knee, but I'm trying to get that knee back down, and I'm trying now. Geez, okay, so straight away I'm feeling that. You don't really want your knee floating about up here. Get your knee down, pin the foot, and then start lowering and loading the weight onto that hip here. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're happy with that now because you're feeling it. But this is where you have to think, right, I'm feeling a stretch, am I relaxed? Is that hip actually relaxed? Probably not, okay? If you're feeling this pretty hardcore, you'll probably find that hip's tensing. So just give it a slight couple of bounces. Oh, it's not relaxed, and that just helps you realise that relax and sort of thing, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, I'm sure if you're not relaxed, you'll understand exactly what I mean by that. Okay, so now I'm starting to get down onto it, and I'm really, like I say, I'm trying to keep this position with my foot, but I'm trying to sit on my hip. I'm trying to get that hip towards the ground. Now that hip's probably about 3 miles off the ground, but still, I'm trying. And it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. Now, you see me moving around. I'm not wincing. I'm not trying to ease out of it. I'm trying, like I say, to manipulate it any way I can. Try and find little pockets of tightness. And just like that hip capsule mobility movement that we do, I'm trying to mobilize it at the same time, okay? So I'm not just holding the one position, I'm enhancing that stretch. I'm never losing that stretch here, okay? You can see my face, I am never losing that stretch as I'm moving around. But as I move around, I'm just helping, trying to free up some of that tied up tissue and just trying to find little pockets of tightness. It's a horror one, this, maybe for you, but it certainly is for me. This is not a nice stretch. I'd say this is probably more intermediate advanced. Okay, so you're probably feeling this one unless you're pretty mobile already. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to slowly drop out. Whew. Good. Right, could sit down here all day now. So that's the glutes. We're going to come round the front now and we're going to do the hip flexors. Again, a great stretch. If you've got a sofa, we're doing the sofa variation. If you don't have a sofa, you're doing exactly the same stretch. So get a drink of water, shake yourselves out, and I'm sure you're starting to feel, again, if you woke up this morning and you feel pressure in your lower back, hopefully you're starting to feel it ease off. You probably most certainly will with this one. Again, I talked to you last time. In fact, while you're all on your feet, let's practice this one. Okay, so I want you to, if you've got pockets, if you don't have pockets, try and grab the skin. So what I want you to do here, this is as I'm going to demonstrate tightness in your hip flexors. So you hear me talking about your hip flexors, they get tight because we sit down, okay, very quickly. So up here, my hip flexors are lengthened. You're happy with that? These hip flexors are lengthened. When I sit down, they're shortened, okay? But this seat now has my muscles relaxed, so now they get pretty, what am I saying? They're relaxed in a shortened position, okay? So now, when I go to stand up, it's harder for them to fully stretch out, okay? And that tends to be what happens when you start seeing people, again, I'm exaggerating it, walking around like this, okay? You relax in the mirror and you look at yourself and you're like, geez, you've got like a Donald Duck butt, as in your hips are rotated that way. For some reason nowadays people want to look like that. They actually walk around forcing it out, which baffles me. You're just going to give yourself hip problems. Okay, so hip flexors. If you've got pockets, put your hands in your pockets right now. If you don't have pockets, just grab what I'm about to tell you to grab. I want you to lean forwards. Okay, so imagine we've just sat down. If you've got your hands in your pockets, I want you to grab those hip flexors. That meaty bit of muscle you feel here, grab it, okay? Grab it tight, and now I want you to stand up while grabbing them, okay? You get to about here, feel that limitation now, okay? You can't straighten your hips out properly, you can't, you get what I'm saying? You feeling me on live? Okay, you've grabbed those hip flexors, you're trying to stand up straight, but as you stand up straight, you feel that you can't sort of push your hips forwards anymore, can you? Because you've grabbed those hip flexors. That's basically what's happening when they get tied up tight. Does that make sense to you? We can't do that, basically. So to open them up a little bit, this is the best stretch. If you've not got a sofa, you're simply doing this variation. Happy? You're doing this variation. The only difference being your foot's not going to be elevated. If you've got a sofa, let's get up onto that sofa. So get the cushion below your knee. Get the knee as close to the sofa as you can. You can do this against the wall, everybody, okay? But you're going to need one hell of a cushion probably for your knee, right? So all I'm doing, I've got that knee planted. I'm getting the foot up, simulating a lunge, okay? Now, I'm going to talk you through it. If you're happy with the stretch, get into it. So I'm pretty tight. So for me, the first part, phase one, is slowly bringing my body up. Okay, so for me now, I'm feeling a stretch already. I'm not up straight. Look how much I've got to go yet. Okay, my hips aren't locked out yet. Where am I feeling it? To be honest with you, I'm feeling this more on my quads. Feeling it more on my quads than my hip flexor just now. Okay, so phase one for me right now is just hanging out in this position, trying to build myself up to being able to be straight, okay? Depends how mobile, depends how mobile or how tight you are, okay? So for me, this side, pretty damn tight. Pretty damn tight today. So I'm continually trying to push my hips through. How do I do that? Push your bum, squeeze your glutes. That's going to start pushing your hips through, okay? So it looks like I'm chilling out here. It looks like I'm just hanging about, but I'm not. Every couple of seconds I'm coming forward a bit more, and as you can see, I'm starting to get more and more vertical. But I'm trying to get more and more vertical with level hips, okay? Don't rush it, and then you're up here, and you feel that your hips are sitting like that. Okay, so take your time with it. If you're severely tight, you might never get to this position, okay? You might never get to this position, as in you will, but maybe not today. So now I'm starting to, as you can see, get a bit more vertical. I'm still feeling it in my quads, but the more I start to get these hips straight now, I'm starting to push my butt through. I'm now starting to slowly, gradually feel it on the hip flexors, okay? This leg, maneuver it. This is where you have to get your big boy pants on and get your initiative and start maneuvering yourself into a better position to enhance the stretch, okay? Not trying to make it easier. So I'm pushing my hips through. If you don't have a sofa and you're just doing this with your leg down, that's fine. Why have I got my leg up? It's far superior having the leg up, because when I've got the leg up like this, all this, your quads, your hip flexors already stretched out before you even begin the stretch. Okay, so it's far superior. You're going to get a much greater stretch. However, you do what you can. If you don't have a sofa to hand, or you don't have a way or means to elevate this leg, then that's fine. Okay, so now I'm really pushing through. Okay, this is uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you. For me right now, this is uncomfortable. I'm pushing through. I'm squeezing the butt. Okay, I'm putting my hands here to show you what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to push through. Okay, I'm trying to push through with my hips. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. You can bring your arm up, if you like, and throw it back to enhance the stretch, but personally for me, I'm getting a hell of a stretch just like this. Now, if you've got your foot elevated, you need to have the knee as close to the wall or the sofa as you can. Okay, if your knee's far away from it, it's not really doing the same job, okay? We're going to ease out slowly. Okay, so again, we're all different, but for me, that left side is always tight on my hip flexor. Okay, I know why. I won't bore you with the details. Good, so I'm changing legs. So again, get the position set up first. Get a good position. Now look at my knee. It's as close to the couch, my sofa, as it can be, okay? No point elevating your foot and then having your knee away forward here like this, okay? Your shin, you're trying to get a vertical shin as best you can, okay? And now all I'm doing is pushing through. And again, for me, this side's a hell of a lot more mobile. So I'm pushing through. Beginner, you're probably here. You're struggling to get up, but just do what I'm saying and just gradually push forward, continue pushing forward until you're getting up more. And again, intermediate, you're maybe here. Okay, I've not conquered the world here. I'm still pushing my hips through. I'm still trying to get straighter. And doing this right now, I can feel I've got a hell of a lot of range left to go, if that makes sense.